just have a fuck up there? I think we just had a fuck up there. Let's see what happens on the rebroadcast. Alright, anyway, if you're still here, here's what this stage of this product looks like. And refresher. We are trying to make these right now for Oron. Oh, no. We fucked up. I hope everybody refreshed or whatever out there. I feel like I just hit the wrong button for a second. I'll wait for people to refresh. Fuck. That's what I get for having buttons. Alright. Let's back up to here. What's going on there? What's this? What? Okay, well, there goes one episode, I guess. Welcome back, anybody who's still with us. Shit, sorry. I fucked up there. Hitting buttons I'm not supposed to hit. Refresh. And now it's what, frozen? There we go. Yay! What have we got? Did that manage to be the same? I'm not sure if it's going to be separated or not now. I accidentally hit the off-air button. Anyway, we're back. We've got this piece here that I just got done making. And this is going to be one of the arm plates for an Oron piece we're making for somebody. That'll be... Yep. So he'll have his wrist backer, and then a little ways off of that we'll have this bent sucker, and we'll bend it to meet the arm of the model who's going to be wearing the outfit. We're just cutting the basic shapes, and also you might notice I've cut it a bit large. He's a bit larger than I am, which is why I'm not using myself as the model for this piece. And we can shave it down if it's too big. No problem there. It's better to have more than it is to have too little. And we'll bend it to the right shape when we get him tomorrow. Wait for the audience to come back. Live. We're live again, I guess, over on YouTube. Oh, look at all the plastic up in my hat. Oh, shit. I didn't even see that. Why didn't you guys tell me that? Fuck. Look at that shit. Guess these things are for living in, huh? Also melted a bunch of plastic into my plate carrier, but I don't really care about that. That thing's not supposed to look nice. It's supposed to look like I've been dragged through hell by it. Welcome back if you're joining us again after I accidentally took us off the air. We just finished this cut, which is the first of the 3 scale plates for Oron's gauntlet. Or maybe it'll be the middle one, and I'll make a slightly smaller one. Well, we'll find out. But at this point, we're just going to be using the measure at the top of the taper to be the beginning of the next one. or a little bit smaller than, so it'll be probably somewhere in between, or it'll land tucked away underneath. And it looks like all of these pieces are going to be riveted individually to the gauntlet underneath, and somebody else is making the glove part of this. So I'm not going to bother putting holes or prepping rivets until I see the base that it's going on. And at very least, even if we don't finish it here on the air, I'll get you guys pictures probably at the latest next week sometime, or at the earliest probably Saturday night, when we'll be working on more cosplay. But I think we've been going, well, I'll open the floor to any questions before I take a short break, because we've almost been going for 3 hours here. I still have some cutting to do, but I definitely want to let the RotoZip cool down for a little while. So we're going to pop back over to the big cam. I'll close this picture real quick. So floor is open to the audience. You even get your next song. This is the audience song. I looked in the wrong camera again. It's 4 times tonight. That's what I get for having 2 cameras. So who do we have out there in internet land tonight? Anybody have any questions about what we're doing tonight? Any comments? No, that's cool. That's cool. We'll just wait. I'll turn this backlight off. Pow! Okay. I'm gonna pour another bit of a shot. Keep my momentum going here. Pour, pour, pour. Pour, pour, pour. There we go. I remember we'll just say it was my 21st birthday, because I couldn't possibly have been drinking for a birthday prior to that. I was at a friend's party and was like, I know a bunch of people who have birthdays in June, so they tend to just throw a big party, or I go crash somebody else's party. So I was crashing somebody else's party that was a multiple party thing for people, and I brought one of those like handles of frickin' Kraken and just tied it to my waist. I was like, this is what I'm drinking tonight. Oh boy. That's really all I gotta say about the results to that. We're out of cider. I think we're out of cider too. I gotta go check the fridge for something. So no, nobody's got a question about what we're doing. Nobody wants me to threaten to comb their hair the wrong way. All right. Well, if that be the way of things, we're gonna take a short break here. I'm gonna go rummage through the fridge. We'll be back to cut more plastic when I return. right, we are back, and we've got Wolf back. Hey, check it out. I've got all my fingers, and I finished the plates. Not for a lack of the plastic trying to take a finger, though. You missed that. That wasn't on the air. It was on Friday while I was working on it in the afternoon. But yeah, here, let me pop one out for you. You can see the result. Nice, well-formed multi-curve plate for my skinny ass. And I tapered it a little bit more than I think the regular multi-curves are, because my ass is skinny. Just the ass. No, I think the fair amount of me is mostly skinny. Got a little bit of this, my COVID-10, which I'm working into some variable number of pack that I haven't decided. I'm not stopping at 6, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll use this cup today. Extra heart points if you know what this is. You gain the COVID-50. See, I don't know if that's possible for me to gain more than 10 more pounds in my life over a period of a year. I just have too fucking high of a metabolism. United Federation of Planets, that is correct, sir. I'm also, as you might have noticed, wearing my Discovery workout shirt, and my sock darts showed up. Bam. So my Discovery working out crewman outfit is now technically complete. Oh, with the ridiculously hummingbird metabolism? Yeah. Like, I could eat cheeseburgers and beer, and as long as I'm not just sitting for 8 hours a day, then I will gain nothing. Just cheeseburgers, beer. As long as I go for a mile walk, I'm good. Yeah. Yeah, in order to keep his weight healthy for gaining weight. Like, if I want to gain weight, it's like I must consume protein powder and like do things that were like encourage weight gain. Well, I don't want in the military anymore. I'll just drop below what they consider a healthy weight for me. Done. Not a fan of Discovery? That's okay. Not everyone's a fan of Discovery. I'm a fan of these shirts. Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'm very unlike other men in my family, except for on my mom's side, they're kind of smaller fellas, but I've got a very small pool to pull from. One uncle. On my dad's side, they're all fucking gorillas. Except for one of my uncles. And he's probably, you know, fit because he takes care of himself really well. And he's a farmer. Alright, so you showed up a little bit late, so I'll catch you up a little bit here. So today, in addition to working on these plates, I'm also working on something for a friend of mine, which is the gauntlets for Oron here. As I've stated for the audience before, he's quite a bit bigger fella, so I'm doing general measurements that are a little bit larger than me. And then we'll curve them to his body, and if need be, shave them down in size a little bit. But these are pretty close to, that'll be the first plate. Then we'll make a slightly larger tapered one, slightly larger tapered one. And it looks like they're all going to be riveted to the gauntlets, or to the gloves for the gauntlets right about here. Right. No, and I'm feeling you on the mutt side. I had that conversation with somebody the other day of just a full-on shotgun blast at Europe kind of mutt. The two parts of my family that I have only any sorts of assurances from my background is German and Romani. And Irish. But the rest of it is like, well, we're guessing. Oh, that's twice I looked at the wrong camera because I keep switching cameras. We're counting. That's 6 times tonight. Okay, so I gotta draw another plate. It'll be slightly deeper, slightly wider. And we'll get our base measurement. Okay. Right. So we're going to get the base measurement from around the middle to start tapering up from. It looks like a good bet would be somewhere around 11 centimeters. Oh, now you want to climb on my lap. My cat's like, can I have your attention while you're trying to draw and broadcast and talk? Because that'd be cool. Be a taper of about... there. So here, I think we're gonna need a new piece. There's probably not enough room here. That's alright. We'll do it off of this one right here. And let's break this dangerous ass spike off the side. Point. Switch. Okay. So if we're going a base of 11 centimeters, and a taper out of 2. If we start here, then we'll meet the edge right here. image that we're going to meet. And then we want it to be, this one is 6.5-ish centimeters deep. So we'll bring the next one up to like 8.5. We'll go with 8.5. That sounds good to me. It's really close to that line we made there. The furthest back direct ancestor that I can follow is in the original census book they referred to as the Doomsday Book. It's 1,500 years or so that I can go back. That's only in one line, though. The rest of them disappear into question marks really fast. But we don't even share that ancestral name anymore. Ellis Island change. Alright, see, that'll be our next plate. If you can see the, there it is. Well, trying to be scaling up about this much with each piece. And again, we're doing extra so that we can shave down if we need to. We'll cut on the inside of these lines. I think we can make them a little less tapered, honestly, now that I'm looking at the comparison. Where did I put the thing? Where it belongs, of course. So we'll try a taper like this instead. It's a little less extreme. Oop, wrong side. Oh, we've got both sides marked. Okay. That might work a little better. So how you doing tonight? Is the air quality treating you fine? Makes me happy I'm in an eclectic job. It is very rarely the same shit on a different day. Always new shit to do. New projects to work on, new things to plan, new shit to organize. That's not a bad plan. Do you have any kind of like allergic asthma or anything like that? Yeah, see, that goes quite a bit ways. 10 generations is quite a ways. That's pretty close to what I got. Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. The only thing I'm allergic to is carcinogens. and bullets. Yeah, one of my uncles went and did all that genealogy shit, so I didn't have to. It was quite good of him to do. Found my family tartan in the process. Double checked all of her work. Yeah, and that's something you can easily get offline with when you think you've got it going in the right direction. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to mute myself while I do this cutting, so you guys don't hear the horrific tool noises. Apparently I got a second to chat while I clean the wheel off. I'll use my phone here to keep an eye on chat for you guys. It's more than a lot of people can say these days, really. But then, surprisingly few people care about their ancestors in any capacity. Alright, here comes the cutting. Oh shit, I can't hear all my shit talking. Um, so yeah, we're basically just going to replicate, as I was saying before, we're going to replicate this kind of scaling up, obviously rounding the edges, making the cosplay a little bit more safe and accurate. As I said before, we're going to be boring little tiny trenches in order to get these apparent edgings, and that's just going to be our guidelines for painting the gold to the black. And we'll do a deeper, like, just straight up black, our charcoal black into the trenches. That'll give us our multi-piece kind of looking fit. Also, I was saying I'm going to have a little bit of Kraken, and I know that Wolf won't join me because he's a teetotaler, and that's okay, but anyone else out there who wants to join me, I just poured a drink. Taking a wee bit of a drink every time I finish a cut. Oh, we got audio. Am I still muted? I thought I unmuted myself. It shows that I'm bouncing voice on my end. Hold on a second. Yeah, just wait for the broadcast to catch up. I saw your message. Thank you. Don't hurt myself. That's why I'm only drinking a little bit. And why I saved the drinking for the small cuts instead of drinking when we had big cuts going. Am I that blurry? Oh no, it's just loading. I have, I don't know if I can pan it over, but I have like a separate unit over here on the other side of my cameras and stuff right here. That's just a different profile that I make sure that everything's going well on. And it looks like we're having some loading issues according to that. I don't know, some focus issues. I don't know. We'll see. Weren't you one of the people trying to get me to hurt myself last week? Just saying. You know, like, I ain't being all judgy or anything. I'm just trying to speak factually. Or was that all wholesale virus that was trying to get me to cut my thumb off? Alright, and that was the ancestry. Who is that far? Well, yeah, no, that, I mean, that goes back measurably further than I think I can. Is it doing the lag thing? See, this is why I got an Ethernet over power setup so that we wouldn't have lag. The cosplay. Well, there's definitely a long delay because I'm just now seeing it pan over and show the secondary screen. Ugh, my up speeds are terrible. See, now I feel like the conversation's out of context because I'm like 20 seconds ahead of you. So while we're waiting for the wheel to cool down... Oh, fun thing about last week, I skipped work the entire week because I was sick and I don't like infecting other people. So this is something I did work on at work today. Because we're also doing a Hazel cosplay, and yes, I guess technically I'm a professional cosplayer because people are paying me my time to make cosplays. But it's going to be one of the crystals that Hazel jacks into his arm from RWBY. And these ones are going to basically be just regular old looking crystals. We're also making one that's going to have a momentary switch, so when he pushes it into his arm, the crystal lights up. And we're testing the battery system for that. Harming myself was about the cosplay.
Which is lagging too much.
Yeah, we're getting a lot. I'm getting a lot of dropped frames here too. We're dropping like 10% of the frames.
It's probably worse than that.
Well, OBS says 9.7 to 10.5%, and it's jumping back and forth.
It was bad enough that it's like, and then you'll start talking again.
Yeah, now it's over 13. Whoa, terrible.
But yes, I was talking about the when you were making the comment about not hurting yourself with the cosplay. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, it's a good idea not to hurt yourself with your cosplay.
Yeah.
And that's not mentioning hurting others, because other people might run up against that. Oh yeah, that's bad plan.
Yeah, that would be awful to wear, right? If it's going to take a or you can see on Discord right away.
I can see it.
OBS,
well,
and then this is what I turn it into.
I turned off the Twitch because the Twitch was too slow.
I hear that.
It was just pissing me off.
Maybe that's our audience problem. Oh, now it's in the green again. Maybe it was you watching that was the problem.
Clearly it was me watching.
Let's get our focus back on. I think I just fucked up my camera by holding a clear piece of plastic in front of it. But yeah. Was that referring to the taking the edges off of this with the cosplay of not hurting yourself and other people?
Yeah. Because that's very important when you're cosplaying. You don't want to harm anybody.
Yeah, I've been doing cosplay for about 20 years, and I can count on one hand the times that I've drawn blood from people who jumped and glomped me, thinking it was a good idea when I hadn't beveled something down. Oh, Greyjoy is now hosting us. Thank you, Darth Greyjoy.
Oh no, can the rest of the people hear me?
Yes, they can. They can hear you.
Okay, so no swearing. Got it.
Well, I mean, you can swear if you're comfortable with being heard swearing, because we're technically a mature channel.
Okay,
we just don't like explicitly sexual descriptions. That's where we draw the line.
Oh, okay, so give me 5 minutes. I can write something down that's explicitly sexually description.
Excuse me while I turn off Discord. Now, I just got one more cut to make tonight. I think we're just going to sit around and chat until midnight.
Whenever the hell I get off, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll chat with you later into the night. I just think the broadcast will end in about a half hour. I better get started on drawing that cut while we're talking. But yeah, no, I fucking love cosplay. I love making cosplay. I love wearing cosplays. I love seeing other people wear the cosplays that I've made. I've been doing this for a really long time, so there's a lot of considerations that I've learned to take through my experience. And the health of other people around you is definitely on that list. Like,
I've never done cosplay. Let's see. The first con I went to would have been 2004. I went to MegaCon in Orlando, Florida.
that's a big con.
I spent most of the time while I was there demoing a game. A friend of mine got a ton of points from them.
Points
He got a
like
bunch of
con
merch.
points?
No. He got merch from the vendor. It was Reaper Miniatures.
Oh, I've seen them before.
Yeah, he quickly taught me, and I have a. It's not an eidetic memory because that's not physically possible in an adult human being. But it's the closest thing you can get. Basically, I have a near photographic memory.
I've got an audiographic visual memory, which means if I have a mental picture of something visual in my head, I can remember a lot of auditory information around that if I was looking at it during that conversation or lecture.
If I am sitting here playing a video game and watching a YouTube video at the same time, I will memorize all of the information. It's bad enough that at a certain point you kind of get bored because you run out of things to learn.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do when you know everything?
There's always more to learn. You're never at the top of the mountain.
Mm.
Every time you think you've gotten to the summit, it's just another fucking plateau.
I'll just tell you right now, I've been looking for more, and there isn't much. It's usually things that are really, really corner case weird things. I mean, I read a ton of articles about like quantum mechanics, watch random videos about such things, and the interaction between this system and that system, and
yeah, I kind of feel you on that. There's never too much information rolling around in my brain for me to use and apply to life as long as I can figure out a way to do so. I remember a conversation not too long ago. Somebody who will say I assume they believe more in the astrology side versus the astronomy side of studying the stars. And they were like, oh, if you could pick any star or star-named object to visit in the galaxy, what would you pick? And I was like, Sagittarius A star. And they're like, are you a Sagittarius? And I was like, no, that's the black hole at the center of the galaxy. Of course I want to visit that. And they were just like, oh, I didn't consider that. I wanted to go visit something related to my star sign.
yeah. Some of that stuff ends up being galaxies.
Well, just within this galaxy. If we're talking about other galaxies, then I got other ideas. But the closest supermassive black hole would be an interesting thing to visit, I think.
Alright, I had a 15 checking in on me.
What's that?
I had a 15 checking in on me.
Oh. What's she doing?
Same shit, different day.
Hmm.
Checking in on the child, making sure that he went to sleep. Which he did.
Good. I used to be the child that didn't go to sleep.
he's really good about it. I mean, he sits there and he watches his tablet, and he'll watch random videos. Very often, it's like Japanese people cutting fruit.
No, that's an art form. In fact, if and I've told this to my brother, if I ever die, it is not out of place to have like a fruit bouquet at my funeral, because I want people to be able to like eat something that makes them feel good.
I kind of thought that the way my grandfather did it was probably the most punk-ass way to do it. He had when his wife had died. This was his fourth wife, by the way, not my grandmother. He had her cremated, and he paid a gentleman to take him out to the international waters and spread her ashes in a certain location.
Paid somebody to do it. That's punk ass as hell. You go yourself.
No. He went there with her. I'm with
Okay.
him, but he
Okay.
still they spread the ashes in international waters. And his request when he died was that his ashes be spread out in international waters as well. He was a petty officer in the Navy. He retired with full pension.
We got our next plate roughly shaped out there.
So
you said,
basically,
did you say in the Navy? Part you cut out a little bit there a second.
Oh, he was a petty officer in the Navy, so
yep.
He served for a full 20.
That's career right there.
Yeah. But when he died, he wanted to be buried out there too. So basically, we didn't really have anything to, we didn't have anything set up to, like have a funeral or anything. So.
Was it just whoever could afford to go out to international waters was there for that?
I think it was just my aunt, to be honest. When it came right down to it, we had to go to San Diego to do all of that, California.
Right.
And most of us couldn't afford to do that, so. From my understanding, against his wishes, my aunt ended up taking half the ashes and burying them in Lafayette.
Well, once you're dead, your wishes only matter as much as people are willing to adhere to them.
Pretty much.
I think I've got some simple enough wishes. When I die, scoop out everything useful that's capable of helping someone else live a better quality of life. Burn the rest. Anyone who wants a teaspoon of ashes can have a teaspoon of ashes to put into whatever object or plant or fuck whatever they want to. And then anything left, fucking throw it into Lake Superior.
They can't spread ashes in Lake Superior. Legally.
Legally is the operative word there, because
one of the ways you can get around that is you can turn it into a chunk of concrete.
Yeah,
in whatever shape you want.
To dump garbage in Lake Superior, just not ashes.
Well, nobody will notice if you just, push a boulder over into the lake.
Yeah. Apparently nobody notices if you fill the end of a hollow point bullet with ash and mud and fire it into the lake either.
Probably not, no. People are pretty unobservant.
Which is exactly what we did for a friend of mine who died in my early 20s. He died in a motorcycle accident. Instant death kind of situation. And this is sort of where I got a little bit of the inspiration, because a bunch of the people in his life had like jewelry made that encapsulated some of his ashes inside that jewelry. And then the rest of it was given to my brother to have spread where he wished. And one of the places he thought was very thoughtful was a place on the North Shore we all used to go camping. So he took the gun that was owned by former person, packed one of the hollow tip bullets full of his ashes in a kind of a mud-like fashion, and fired that thing over the horizon.
I don't know. I told 15 to try to if I die before her to try to get as much money off my corpse as she humanly can. Just sell it all.
Start selling bits. I don't even care. Well, I'm pretty much done with my mortal form once I've died, so I don't really give a shit either.
No reason that people shouldn't have more money, right?
Yeah, or a chance to live longer.
I've heard a corpse is worth about $1 billion, so.
Well, if you live a healthy life, I mean, I'm sure your corpse is worth more than mine.
I don't live a healthy life.
Well, do you smoke?
That makes it probably worth more because I'm
smoker?
weird. No.
Your lungs are worth a lot. I smoked for 12 years. Nobody wants my lungs.
I have asthma. Nobody wants my lungs.
Okay, fair enough. That's true. We did cover that earlier tonight.
My asthma is probably worse than your smoker lung. Trust me.
You know what? That's probably okay. That's probably true, considering that I'm barely agitated with the current levels of small particulate pollution in the air. Like we're somewhere near or over 200 in parts of Minnesota, and I'm just like, it smells bad. I could still run a mile though.
Well, we just need some rain.
That would definitely help. Would definitely help, but
though one of the weird things having to do with lightning that I found out that I'm surprised they never teach you in school is that did you know that the reason why there was ever fertilizer to be able to fertilize the plants in the first place was because of lightning?
I feel like I need this enlightenment in my life.
And I'm just sitting here going, when I found that out, I'm like, what? So then I looked it up. What? What? Why was this never a thing they taught you in school? Because I mean, that is just awesome.
The only reason a lot of shit in school.
Well, I had a lot better education than you did, I'm sure.
Yeah, I went to public schools, man. My education was shit. I know as much as I do because I fucking care to study.
I went to public school in the middle of nowhere. Our education was really freaking good.
No. We were the school at the bottom of the hill. Like, you know the show The Oblongs? Yeah. Have you ever seen that show? We're the school at the bottom of the hill in the valley, where I grew up. And we literally had a school at the top of the hill, Totino Grace, that got all the funding and special education programs and shit like that.
See, I was in the middle of nowhere, so, let's see. The 3 school districts I attended was Hutchinson, Litchfield, and Howard Lake Waverly Winston. Which, Litchfield... Yeah, that's not a story I want to tell on air. That's Howard Lake Waverly Winston is where we went after that. Basically, imagine that the entire school revolved around the ag department and sports. And that's basically what the school is all about. And then when I went back to Hutch, Hutch was trying to be they're basically the big guy on campus if you go further west. So they have all the funding, they have whatever the hell they want. Mm-hmm. I mean, I took 3 semesters worth of accounting. I took business law. I took Native American studies, physics, chemistry, trig.
Yeah.
Oh God, Holocaust studies. That was an interesting class.
We had trigonometry, but we didn't have any of the rest of that shit.
I'll just tell you right now, that Holocaust studies class, everybody should have to take that. That'll scare the crap out of you.
If you took Holocaust studies in high school, you should be scared right now what's happening in America.
Why not? I'm scared of both sides. Because I'm worried that one of them is going to do something stupid.
Well, I'm afraid of extremists. Like, to be completely honest, on either side, regardless of the view, extremism and extremist behavior is, like, the problem, because that's the point where people essentially decide violence is the tool.
And there's also going to be a point where they're going to trigger a response.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the leftists who are pushing the CRT stuff having to do with white people are bad is going to net out a response from the white people who are like, no. And if the white supremacists, the far right people,
They're gonna be
not the
like, "You want
alt
to see
right,
bad, huh?"
not the people who they're trying to who the left are trying to say are the white supremacists, but the
The
actual
actual white
white
supremacists, yes.
if
The
these people
actual,
actually get any power,
um,
that's going to be bad too. I mean, that will
oh,
be
for
an
sure.
Adolf Hitler. Let's see how many people we can wipe out. Because Trump was not a white supremacist.
He
He
was a
just
bigot though,
wasn't.
and he wasn't about suppressing white supremacy either.
I honest to God think that he just didn't have any give a crap in that general direction. He was trying to fix the economy and get China to stop doing what China was doing.
Yeah.
That everybody could see they were doing 10 years before he showed up. And they just weren't doing anything about it. Now, does
China's got
that
their
mean
own
that he
goddamn problems right now. You see what's been going on in Hanzhou the last day?
no, but if let's discount all of the okay, so if you look at there's the gentleman, his name is Peter Zahan, right? And he looks at international politics almost exclusive. And a lot of what he talks about has to do with demographics. And what I love about his work is that he explains what's going on with China and Russia in a very clear cut, simple way. And after you look at it, it makes total sense why what they're doing. And it's because they have no choice.
From a pragmatic point of view, they're all well.
No,
They
from a
have a
demographic
choice,
point of
but
view.
not one that makes monetary sense for the system they're in. They have a
No,
choice,
no,
but it's
it makes perfect
expensive.
sense there too. Okay, so let's look at Russia. Russia's demographics are about to flip. They're about to go from a consumption-led economy, I'm sorry, a production-led economy to a post-industrial economy. They'll be turning into the same thing that Japan is right now. Okay, so that means that they won't have enough men to be able to fill the military ranks. They won't have enough money to be able to fund the military in the first place. They are essentially stuck with the borders that they have the second that demographic switches.
Mm.
Okay, their eastern border is essentially a nonstop rush straight to Moscow. And there is nothing between them and Europe. And they, in their brain, are worried about that. They don't expect Pax Americana to last forever. Okay, now let's look at China. China's in the same situation, but about half a generation early. They're about to go from a consumption-led economy, which they're currently in, and they are the biggest consuming nation on the face of the planet.
Yep.
To a I believe it's a production-led economy, possibly even a post-industrial economy.
Well,
Okay,
depending on how, because if this last few days have been any indication that they're gonna have a lot of fucking infrastructure restructuring if they
oh
fucking
yeah,
care about the lives of their citizens at all, because so much of their infrastructure is in floodplains, and that's becoming a big fucking problem now.
well, the fun part for them is that everything is going to get totally and completely screwed, and it's gonna all happen at the same time, and they know it's gonna happen. That's why they want to try. That's why they're being hyper aggressive about Taiwan. That's why they want to try to capture the South China Sea,
Mm-hmm.
because they have the manpower and the resources to do it right
Currently.
now.
and they won't in 10 years because they'll be
They
using all
won't
their
in.
manpower and resources to restructure their entire infrastructure around the new water lines that they're going to have to deal with. Because that's going to be
They
a
won't
fact of
be.
existence for them. They won't be able to keep up with that shit. And they won't be able to keep a military up while they're trying to keep their citizens alive and relocated.
If you take the global warming out of the picture, this is pure demographics, right?
Oh,
They
well,
won't be able to do it in 5 years. They won't be able to take Taiwan in 5 years because they will not have the manpower, they will not have the political will, and they will not have the resources.
yep.
Okay, so that's why everything's happening right now. So
And
why?
they're getting a hard awakening that that timeline is shortening every single day.
Yes, and the fun part for the rest of us is the United States, 100% totally and completely immune all of that because of us. We're the generation the rest of the world didn't get. That's like, why is there turmoil in the United States?
Why is there turmoil in the United States? Well, that's not a very quick answer.
No. It's a really simple answer if you look at it from the right perspective, which is the boomers are moving out of power and the millennials are moving into power.
Mm-hmm.
And the Gen Xers are getting a little bit, getting more power than they'll ever have at any point in time in the future or in the past, because the boomers are all have no choice but to retire. So that's why you're seeing a bunch of really weird things. Yes, there's some other factors that are playing in, but if you're just looking at it from that, you're like, a lot of that makes sense because a lot of that kind of stuff happens when generations switch. Different priorities, different desires. They want different things. And our generation doesn't want what their generation wants.
Yeah, that's pretty clear. Our generation wants more transparency, equality, checks and balances.
And at the same time, you have the boomers who are trying to crack down on that through authoritarianism. Mm-hmm. They're trying to crack down on that in many other ways. And that's why when it's only going to take like 5 years and it'll be done. Yeah. And then we'll have the political paradigm that will exist for the next 20 to 40 years. Assuming we make it to the other side.
Well, 20 to 40 years is about how long we have to be able to get ourselves in a position to make it to, quote unquote, the other side. And I guess the other side of this is going to be the fuel source crunch. In 20 to 40 years, we're going to really fucking have to be considering what we're using as an energy supply and how we're going to fucking deal with that, because we obviously can't continue to use the current energy supply style that we have.
We had discussed that the other day, and to be perfectly honest, there's only two options. We can do the AOC plan, which is basically return ourselves back to the pre-industrial status, which I'm of the personal opinion is untenable. You will have to. You will lose.
Information age, it is, yeah.
Well, you will lose. If I had to guesstimate, probably about 85% of the population worldwide. And that's if we're highballing it.
Well, it's hard to think that much of the population depends on industrialism outside of their local area. And from this region, I guess that's a hard perspective to see, but in other regions, that really fucking matters, so...
Food production.
We produce food here.
No, my point is that without industrialization, as we currently have it, every human being would become... this gigantic city we live in would be fundamentally unsustainable.
I have a big enough yard to grow a garden to supply food for the 3 people in the house.
It'd be close.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have a huge yard, but we definitely have enough to supply that. And you're right, it would be close, but we might
Your
even have
biggest
enough
problem.
to trade.
Your biggest problem is fertilizer. Now, one of the interesting things is that we have produced 10 times more phosphorus, I think it is, since the beginning of since it was no, ammonia. We have produced 10 times the amount of ammonia that naturally existed prior to our ability to synthesize.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why you're having all of these gigantic. Have you ever heard of an algae bloom?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's causing all the algae blooms. Is we're dumping fertilizer into the oceans en masse.
Well,
We have essentially increased the amount of fertilizer in this world by, like I said, 10 times at least.
Sorry to switch subjects slightly, but I've been looking at this and I'm wondering, like, if I cut it differently, it would be Massachusetts, right?
You kind of just need a panhandle.
If I cut a little loop right in here for the bay.
Yeah, and then you need a longer panhandle.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know.
Well, you know where the Mason-Dixon line is, right?
Not as well as Google knows.
Okay, you know the Massachusetts line along the left, along the eastern side, and the top of it is called the Mason-Dixon
Right.
of Maryland.
We're just
Oh, you were thinking Massachusetts. I was thinking Maryland.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I was thinking Massachusetts. So, like, this is, you know, the western side of Massachusetts. And if I was to cut a hook right in here and shave off some of this, I'd have the state.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Maryland, if I can spell correctly.
You can also just move the map. It's not that far.
Zoom out Connecticut, Philadelphia.
North of DC.
Maryland right here. Yeah. Boom. Boom.
So if you see the line, that's the north part of Maryland, right? And then it
right
juts
here.
down to create
right, this line right here that you're talking about.
Yeah, and then it juts down to create Delaware. That entire line, that entire border, is considered the Mason-Dixon line.
Dixon right here. Dickerson.
Dickerson.
That sounds like a Canadian town, I'm just saying. But
a lot of Canadians were forced to come down. Nothing. I can talk about pretty much anything. Random things pop in my head all the time.
Such is our curse.
Such as my son decided to finally pop his gigantic pizza slice.
I don't know if that's a euphemism or just about pizza.
It's a pool floaty.
Okay. Oh, okay.
He has a gigantic pool floaty pizza slice.
I've seen those. That's awesome.
He's a weird child.
I hear that any generation looks at the next generation like they're fucking weird kids. And we've been talking for a good half hour here. I haven't even started this cut, but I feel like
we'll get her done
suddenly. I'm gonna take a. You know what? We don't need to do this online. I did a lot of cutting and shaping and stuff today. I'd like to continue this conversation, but I want to end the stream. So if you don't mind, I'll take a moment to do that.
I will take a break and yeah, take a break.
All right, what are we? We're on the 21st. 21st today, so our next show is going to be on the evening of the 24th, where I will probably be continuing to work on cosplay, and if not, I will be playing Fallout 4. Let's move over to Raid. Oh, I kind of want to do the easy thing and raid Insomniac because they're playing music, and I feel like that right now. So, thank you all for joining us tonight. If you enjoy our shows about cosplay, you can catch us every other Wednesday or every Saturday, and we're either doing cosplay-related things or playing games. Otherwise, every Monday and every other Wednesday, we are doing a broadcast, which is a D&D campaign where 3 different parties are in the same world at the same time with the same quest. If you want to get into the insanity that ensues from that, go ahead and join us every other Wednesday and every Monday at 7:30 p.m. for D&D. Thank you for joining us all tonight. Take care. And let's start our raid. Boom. So, 10 seconds. I'm just going to go ahead and pop us over to the logo screen. Have a good night, everyone.